Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Number one team in the National Hockey League, despite stubbing their toe last night in New Jersey, is the Colorado Avalanche. They got the most wins in the NHL at 41 and the best winning percentage at .750. Second best team in the NHL is the Carolina Hurricanes, officially now the number one team in the East. Number three team, the Florida Panthers, officially tied with Carolina and an NHL leading plus-minus at +70 and the most power play goals in the league. That's hot, even for Florida. Number four team in the NHL is the Calgary Flames. Number one in the Pacific, and oddly, more road wins than home wins, and I think that'll bode them well in these Stanley Cup playoffs. And number five, the fifth best team in the National Hockey League is the Tampa Bay Lightning. The three-peat dream is alive, and they visit Calgary Thursday night. So let's settle this once and for all. Who's better, Lightning or Flames? Shades of 2004 coming up Thursday night. The bottom five. Number 28, the Buffalo Sabres. They still can't win for losing. Number 29, the Chicago Blackhawks. Sellers at the deadline with the number one prize in the flower. Don't screw it up. Number 30, the Montreal Canadiens. Third worst team in the NHL. I can't bear to put them last, especially how they're playing under Martin St. Louis. Number 31, the Seattle Kraken. Last place in the Pacific and not getting better. And unfortunately, number 32, the worst team in the NHL, remains the Arizona Coyotes. Poor Andre Tourigny, saddled with this. That is our NHL top five and bottom five.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Maybe tomorrow I'll tell you guys about the big game that I went to in San Antonio with Snoop Dogg. Remember that one, Clark? The Lakers and Spurs? Snoop Dogg and I went, Bob.
How about that?
Snoop Dogg was sitting courtside. I was up in the nosebleeds, but we were in the arena at the same time. I was there with him.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Absolutely true story. Welcome, everybody. Hey, Bruce. How you doing, buddy? The voice of the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino is in the house. Happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome to your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. And dare I say, the only daytime sports and entertainment. We're on Game Plus Television, and as you heard, we're live from Calgary's entertainment destination, and it's going to be a very fun show, but a very busy show. The Moose remains in Phoenix, Arizona, down there doing business, the site of Super Bowl 2023, Super Bowl 57. That's where Moose is, and maybe at some point we can get him on the air from there, but talked to him this morning, and he's off for a round of golf. How about that? Yeah, so our good man, Danny Austin, joining us, Calgary Stampeders, Flames, Hitman beat writer from the Calgary Sun and Herald. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing well, man. It's good to be here.
It's always good. I appreciate you helping us out.
Phoenix sounds nice, I will say. But
it's only +8 Celsius today, so down there. I checked it.
Okay.
Trust me. +29 in Florida. Just saying.
Yeah, it's not that here. It's coming. The weather's about to turn.
Dude, it's been cold.
It's been cold. But spring is arriving. If you ski, it's been good. I ski, so it's been nice. But yeah, we need. I feel spring. I'm ready for spring.
You know, aren't we all? And it's funny, by the way. Danny was saying when he came up here to the stage bar, because that's where we are, before a live studio audience here at Grey Eagle, he said, I hope we're not going to get into a deep dive on the NFL. I'm like, no, we're just going to shoot the breeze. I got the quick six show topics here. Danny's been gracious enough to offer to spend the whole show with us. Also coming up today, Jessi Pierce from NHL.com in Minnesota. She covers the Minnesota Wild, and she also hosts the Bar Down Beauties podcast. The Minnesota State Hockey Championships are going on. The Wild are making news. Jessi Pierce is going to be with us. Mike Morreale, the commissioner of the Canadian Elite Basketball League, will be joining us as the CEBL front and center with the Edmonton Stingers playing here in Calgary next week with the BCLA tournament at Winsport. Mike Morreale is going to join us to talk about that. And Connor Bedard, whose jersey's over my shoulder here, the Wonder Kid, Connor Bedard, is going to be joining us from the Queen City as well. And we're just going to roll with it. Danny, are you cool with that?
I got to say, I am not the headliner when you got
yes, you
those
are.
three coming. That's a nice sketch.
It's a nice lineup, and bravo, producer Clark, for doing that. Obviously, we're going to roll around, I would think, to some CFL and Stampeders talk. But Director Jordan, can you please hit the Quick Six show horn? Because there's some things that I want to get to here. Well, opening with NHL leftovers this morning, JT Miller scored the go-ahead goal in a great individual play early in the third period and collected 3 assists to lead the Vancouver Canucks to a 5-3 win over the Montreal Canadiens. The Canucks have now won 7 of their last 9 as they sit 3 points back of a playoff wildcard spot. How about up in Edmonton? Connor McDavid scored the overtime winner and added an assist as the Oilers emerged with a 4-3 victory over the Washington Capitals. The win halted a 3-game slide for Edmonton. Now, Danny, I don't want to put you on the spot, but did you see it all if the Oiler fans booed Ovi last night? Did you hear? Did you see?
I did not see
okay.
that. I was sitting in a pub eating wings with a couple Flames fans who are really, really rooting for the Oilers to miss the playoffs. It's the one thing that I've been out here over a decade now, and Flames fans will never disappoint you when the Oilers are playing.
I know. So were they watching the game and cheering against the Oilers, or were you just
100% cheering it? They want the Oilers to miss the playoffs this year so badly, more than most years.
And most years they do want that a lot, so that must be a lot this year.
Yeah, I think that there's, after the season that the Flames had last year, and I mean, I was on last summer talking, and you asked me, and
that's right.
I had very low expectations for this season, and couldn't have gotten that one more wrong. That's the business of making predictions on the Rod Pedersen Show, I guess. But yeah, it does seem, man, Flames fans really don't like this Oilers team and really want to see them fail.
Well, here's a little inside tip. My predictions, your predictions, anybody's predictions, nobody really remembers.
I know.
So that's why I throw them out. As much as they do, they don't. And to be honest, I'll give the Flames a lot of credit because they're saying themselves, we didn't expect this to happen. You cover them.
Yeah.
Right? They're saying that. Then they're giving credit to everybody, and it is becoming very special. And by the way, to jump to tonight's Flames Lightning game. You've been out here how long? Since
Alberta 2010.
Yeah, so over a decade.
Over a decade. They
got some baggage, dude, from the 04 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah. The Lightning still matters. I mean, I can tell you, in 2014, I was a desker, which for people who don't know basically means I'm laying out pages in the newspaper. And I had a whole idea that I wanted to do a 10th anniversary Flames win the cup with just the picture of the puck crawling over the line. People loved it. We couldn't get advertising from what I remember, but we were going to do a whole section. 2004 matters in Calgary.
They're still talking about it.
They're still talking about it. They still say that puck was in. They still say they won the Stanley Cup, and they should. But yeah, I mean, the Lightning Flames is weirdly it's a rivalry. It's there. It matters. I don't know that it matters for the players, but it matters for the fans.
Well, most of the players are gone. But do you guys hear that echoing the back feed?
Yeah, there might be some feedback from the mic to the speakers in the casino.
Yeah, there's some feedback we're getting here. There's a sound issue, so I don't know if you got to kill that or not, or what do you got to do, but it's affecting this. So, yeah, tonight it's the Calgary Flames and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and for at least this week, we'll find out who's the better team between the two as they meet in the Saddle Dome. So thank you, Clark, for that. We'll stay on top of it. They couldn't hear it out here in the casino, but we could hear it, and it's becoming a problem. Some pretty wicked feedback. Now, to the next point 2. Now, and Danny, you're a Toronto guy.
Mm-hmm.
Do you identify yourself as a Leafs fan?
I do, but I'm not sure Leafs fans would allow it anymore.
Because you've been gone so long?
Yeah, and to be honest, the Leafs have broken me. I'm 37 years old. It's been a long time since the Leafs have been good, and you know, I know you were talking with Theo yesterday. I am at the point where the Leafs need to win me back. Win one playoff series, and I'll come back. But
good for you for recognizing that. Most Leaf fans don't.
I have this problem where I truly was more of a basketball fan growing up, and I need something because I feel like 2019 the Raptors won the championship and I got all I needed out of sports. So my fandom, I'm now very much a reporter and I don't necessarily engage. I got my adult championship, so I would love for the Leafs to pull me back in, but honestly, it's deeply frustrating, and the fact is, I do feel the same way about the Flames, but win a playoff series before I start believing it.
They need to win you back.
Win one
get it.
series. One series.
It won't take much, will it?
It won't take much, but until literally they are skating out there for the second round, I just will not believe in the Toronto Maple Leafs because they've let me down so many times, including last season. It's
Well, of course. I'll be jumping into the chat in a second. We welcome your questions and comments. The reason I ask if Danny's a Leafs fan, being a Torontonian, born and raised, but now living in Calgary, Austin Matthews has been close to 50 goals before. Agonizingly close, in fact. The COVID-19 panic, however, has had other ideas. The Leaf star, though, now poised once again to become Toronto's first player to reach the milestone, 50 goals in a season, since Dave Andreychuk scored 53 back in 93-94. Matthews found the back of the net 47 times in 2019-20, and then Corona shuttered the regular season. The next year was just 56 games, but Matthews put up 41 goals in 52 games. He's taken things to another level this season with 43 goals, including 6 in his last 3 games, after missing a trio of contests to start the schedule following summer wrist surgery. Leafs winger Michael Bunting said, quote, yesterday, best player in the league. Michael Bunting, I think, still qualifies as a fan. He's a rookie, Michael Bunting. Is he qualified to say best player in the league or best Leaf ever? That's what Theo said yesterday, sitting in this chair. I'm like, what?
I think that he is the closest to being the best player in the league that the Leafs have had in my lifetime, but let's say 50 years just for the fun of it. With that said, no. Theo also said you got to win Stanley Cups, and I don't even care.
Oh, you saw that, huh?
Yeah, of course I saw that. I don't even care about winning the Stanley Cup. I think that so few players get to do it. It's not a reflection on you. I care about doing something in the playoffs, and I don't think Austin Matthews has done that, and he's a great regular season player. I feel the same way about the Flames. Great regular season team. Until you do it in the playoffs, I can't talk about you as being one of the best players in the league because that's where it counts. So Austin Matthews, special player. Love watching him play. Man, he's got an eye for the net. I do think we can talk about him as one of the best players in the league, but I have real trouble calling anyone who's never been in the second round the best player in the league.
Right! And that's from Bunting, who I just think we can't take his opinion because he's still a fan. He's a rookie. And to get into the best Leafs ever, like Theo brought that up yesterday, I said, who's saying that? And he goes, the Spit and Chicklin guys. And I'm like, when did they become the barometer, the conscience of the National Hockey League? Man, I love them, but anyways, it's brought up the poll question today. Who is the best player in the NHL right now for Capital Automall Universal Collision Center, including Capital GMC right here in Calgary? They sponsor our poll question every day. Your options are Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Alex Ovechkin, and Igor Shesterkin. We put in there because of what he's doing in goal for the New York Rangers. And I got to say, I'm voting for Connor McDavid, but he hasn't done anything either.
I think if the question is right now, every player is available, you have a draft for next year.
That's the way you got to say it.
That's the way you do it. You got a draft for next season. Of course you're taking Connor McDavid. I don't respect anyone who votes otherwise. Connor McDavid, he still has that ability to take over a game in a way that no one else does. So for me, it's Connor McDavid, and honestly, it's 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, and you're a Leaf.
I love Austin
What would we
Matthews.
say? Closet Leaf fan? What are you? You're a Leaf fan in waiting? You're in remission as a Leafs fan? Something?
I feel like I'm a person who's dealt with 37 years of pain. And, again, I would be back in Toronto if they made the finals. It
wouldn't take long.
It wouldn't take much. But like right now, I refuse to allow myself to get emotionally invested in the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Smart. And so, by the way, I will slide into the chat here a little bit. Ryan McCarthy is watching in Saratoga, New York. Ryan from the No Credentials Required podcast says Austin Matthews is the best American-born goal scorer in the league, but not the best player in the league. And that's from an American. Jennifer, watching from the Four Seasons Sports Palace, says, even as an Oiler fan, I was a little sad and angry about 2004. They were robbed. And I just wonder, Danny, like, are you in Calgary to stay for the rest of your life, or do you know you're just kind of wherever life takes you?
It's a loaded question, Rod.
I know, but
I don't see myself leaving.
Yeah,
great city.
No plans now. You're saying
plans.
to leave.
Yeah.
A couple things have come up every day, and we've been out here, well, over a month, 6 weeks. 04 Stanley Cup Final comes up every day. with the people that I'm around.
It should. So I was in Toronto. That was one of the most special runs. I don't think we've had other Canadian teams go on great runs, including the Oilers. I mean, I loved that Oilers team, 2 years later. Something was special about that 04 Flames team. It's sort of like the embodiment of what we want from a hockey team. They worked hard. They had the star in Iginla. They had the great goaltending. But other than that, they just worked so hard, came together, were that sort of ideal of what a hockey team can be. And for them to be robbed of the cup the way they were, of course it hurts. And I love, that's what I love about hockey, is that, the fans will talk about that more than they'll talk about anything else. I do think it, on some level, hurt the franchise a little bit, because for so long there was this idea that they could, with Iginla and Kiprusoff, just get back into the playoffs and make magic happen, and that was accepted. So mediocrity became something that people were okay with, because that dream was still there once they made the playoffs, and it never happened. And I think it pushed the rebuild back a couple years longer than it probably should have. But 04 was magic, and it was magic in Toronto. I remember there being Flames flags on cars. It was so exciting.
Yeah.
So, it was amazing.
Well, as the Rider guy, 20 seasons voice of the Rough Riders, having called the 2009 Grey Cup, while we're not over that, it doesn't come up every day anymore. So
you guys won one afterwards. I think that's the big part.
Yeah, okay. That makes a difference. Randy from the Pegs watching and says the best player is McDavid, but the MVP this year is Shesterkin. Well, we're going to find out. And by the way, the other thing that's come up every single day in my travels, because I'm not just in Calgary, we're out here on Tsuut'ina Nation, I'm traveling around southern Alberta, they ask about Connor Bedard every single day. And Connor Bedard's going to be with us a little later on. We're in the warm-up right now with Danny Austin from the Calgary Sun and Herald. Were you in the Saddle Dome when Bedard pulled off the between-the-legs toe drag goal against the Hitmen? Were you covering that game?
I was not, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. It was a friend's birthday, so I was actually on a patio that day. I was at the Pats Hitmen game, well, not this
couple
past
weeks
weekend.
later,
Yeah, which, I mean, he wasn't as spectacular, but boy, is he fun to watch. He did a little sort of 360 for an assist that, didn't make SportsCenter, didn't make Sportsnet, but was amazing to watch. And, I mean, when he gets a little bit of muscle, a little bit of,
he's a boy still.
He's still a boy. When he gets that, he is going to be, whatever NHL team gets him is going to be very, very happy for a very long time.
Connor Bedard is coming up later on in the program. Before we break here in the warm-up, we got a couple minutes. Danny is a big basketball guy. The Raptors snapped a 3-game slide Wednesday night with a 119-104 victory at San Antonio. All-star guard Fred VanVleet scored 26 points in the win, returning from a 5-game absence dealing with a knee injury. And with the loss, it denied Spurs coach Greg Popovich as being the winningest coach in NBA history. I assume you watched that one?
Yeah, watched most of that one, yes.
What's with the Raptors turnaround? They looked like junk at the start of the year, and now they're...
I don't think they ever were junk. I think that they are not necessarily a team that I expected. They're not top 5 in the East. The East is so good right now. But they work hard. Fred VanVleet is rightfully an all-star. And we got Scotty Barnes. So I'm looking 2-3 years down the road to us being contenders again. This year, every win is a bonus, and I would not want, if I was, whether it's a Philly or a Brooklyn, I wouldn't want to be playing the Raptors early on in the playoffs, because they will give you a fight. And as a basketball fan who knows my team's not going to win a championship this year, that's all I want. I want them to fight. I want them to work, and they do that.
They are fun to watch. Hard not to like. By the way, you are watching the RP Show live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. On the way, we're going to talk a little Briar. CHL Top 10 rankings came out yesterday. The NFL quarterback shakeup continues, and a whole lot more, and we'll welcome in viewer takeover. On the way, Jessi Pierce from NHL.com Minnesota, Mike Moriali, the commissioner of the CEBL, and more. By the way, Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, proud to present Foreigner The Hits on tour March 19th and 20th, and we want to send you. Enter now to win 2 tickets to the show by texting your favorite Foreigner song to the RP Show text line at 902-518-3033, and we'll randomly pick a winner, and you'll be enjoying Foreigner down here. Your pick of nights at the Grey Eagle Event Center. We'll be right back. You are watching on Game Plus TV and YouTube Live. And if you missed the show, catch the podcast on Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, it's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
You are looking live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Aerial coverage provided by Bronco Plumbing and Heating and Cooling. We are at the Stage Bar. Danny Austin crushing it here from the Calgary Sun and Herald. And we're right in the middle of the warm-up. We're 3 topics in. And I'll jump back on the train for a second. But this is, I think, an important topic. And, of course, we are airing on Game Plus television across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Game Plus TV carried on TELUS Optic cable all through Alberta and BC. A lot of CFL fans watching, and this is literally the deadest part of the calendar. You will agree.
It's 100%.
There's nothing.
I need something.
Yeah.
Give me something.
Well, Danny's going to drop a stink bomb maybe. I shouldn't speak for you. I'll let you say. We were talking about the CFL and the Toronto market, and you're a Toronto kid, and you grew up loving the Argos. But you feel there's some significant challenges there. And just what he said in the break, I'm starting to think we need to move them out of there. And maybe we, by moving a team to the Maritimes, an existing team, maybe that's the shot in the arm that the Schooners need. Maybe it's the Moncton Argonauts. Fitz? But the CFL in Toronto, you think, is dead in the water?
I think it's so tough to talk about because the people who are literally with the Argos right now are doing everything right. I honestly, I do. Pinball, I mean, the executive all the way down, and I mean, I love what they've done with that team. I want to be very, very clear. I think the Argos, to be honest, I'm picking them to come out of the East, and I'm doing it now, and I'll be doing it right until the East final. I love the Joe Garrett Davis edition, Royce Mechie, who I got to watch out here. They've just done a great job. That is a good team. But, I mean, it's so depressing when I talk to my friends back home, and I think what people sometimes miss is they're like, oh, you know, we need more visibility. We need more visibility. I hate saying this, but I just know so many people, they don't even realize that the Argos are playing. They don't even know that the Argos exist at this point. So I think that the challenge is so much bigger. And I hate saying that because the actual Argos fans, you know, if you're on Twitter, they're really cool. Like they're awesome. They know their football. They love their football. And I think that they get, I'm trying to think of the right word to use because I don't want to swear. They get dumped on a little bit by the rest of the CFL, and I don't think that's fair. So I love what exists in Toronto. It's just, I'm really beginning to wonder if you spend enough time covering this league and you realize that sometimes the problems just don't go away. And I do think that that is a big problem, that maybe winning helps. Maybe this group, you know, being really good can get in the conversation, but I don't see the solution.
Well, I was out on a road trip with the Rough Riders to Toronto a few years ago. And I guess I shouldn't name my friends from Sportsnet that I was with. We were at the Shark Club downtown. Awesome spot. And they're like, Rod, what brings you to town? Riders are playing the Argos, you guys. Why else would I be here? And they're like, Argos still have a team? That's cute. These guys worked at Sportsnet.
Yeah.
And I was humiliated, felt this tall, and I thought, that's not my problem. That's their problem. But do you not think that that's... And when I talk about moving the team, Mike Hogan of the voice of the Argos just snap show. Loses his mind.
And Hogan's the best. And,
you're right, Hogan's the best.
And I mean, realistically, there are 4 daily newspapers in Toronto? Toronto Sun's the only one that has any coverage. I mean, that's Frank Ziccarelli. You know, so there's no visibility, and it's a chicken and egg situation that really depresses me because I honestly, I did grow up going to Argos games. I remember Muhammad Ali was at an Argos game. I went to a ton of games growing up. My friends played football. You know, the Sky Dome obviously did some damage, but it really worries me, and I think that we need the Toronto market. But people are always saying to me, you know, oh, well, what can be done in Toronto? What can be done in Toronto? And I hate this may not make a great clip, but I have no idea. Well, a lot of smart people haven't been able to figure it out. I don't know what the solution is there.
Yeah, and I think if pinball can't accomplish that, pinball's job is to win. It's not his job to market the team. No. But if people don't gravitate to the Argos now with pinball running the show, I don't know.
Well, and with Ryan Dinwiddie doing a great job with some real talent on that team, I mean, they should be. Honestly, I mean, it's so hard to pick the Argos. Everyone wants to talk about all of Ottawa's additions. Look, the Argos over the last 2 years have put together an incredible group. There is so much talent. I really love the Corey Mace hire, as you might imagine. I mean, I got a lot of affection for Corey Mace, but I think that team should be talked about not only as potentially the best team in the East, but I think potentially the best team in the league.
But it's not about wins and losses with them.
Well, what I worry about is that message getting out to someone who might be interested in going to an Argos game. It's an affordable ticket in a town where everything else is expensive.
Well,
is that message out, and I think that's where we start. And ultimately it's not my job to sell the Argos, but it's really tough. And
well, you'd like to think that you're all in it together in the CFL. But it seems like they're not. From our viewers, Ryan H. watching on YouTube says, Rod, I'm in Toronto and an Argos fan, but I'd support a Maritimes move if it would help the league. I don't know why they can't draw a crowd here. Darren Workman in Salt Lake City watching says, I watched the Behind the R Ottawa broadcast on YouTube. If this is the deadest time of the year in the CFL, why don't more teams try a fan-engaging vehicle like this to drum up off-season interest? I haven't seen it, but I understand it's like a Hard Knocks. Did you watch it?
A little bit of a Hard Knocks. I mean, Drive to Survive. I want to give the Red Blacks all the credit in the world for trying that out. I think it's great. I think it's engaging content. I also don't necessarily think that it's the worst thing for any league. Yes, we all want it to be 365 days a year. I do want to say, like, it's okay that we don't have anything to talk about right now. That's not the end of the world. You better by mid-April have something to talk about. And it is worth noting that in a normal year, ideally they would have had their CFL week probably in either Regina or Winnipeg, which would have brought all the players through. You know, that's a big TSN event. That's normally mid-March. That was sort of scrapped because of the pandemic. We would have had the GM meetings here in Alberta a couple weeks ago. Pandemic scrapped that. This is a tough time for the CFL in general, but there is stuff that would be happening. And the reality is, anyone who wants to tell me that we should be blowing up the CFL Combine, 1% of hardcore CFL fans are paying attention to the Combine.
It's the truth. But I don't know if you watch SportsCenter. I watched it 3 times this morning in case I missed something. And the other day they had Michael Irvin on, my good friend Michael Irvin that I met at Super Bowl. And he goes, that's why they call it the NFL, not for long. And he said the offseason's not for long. He's talking about the trades and this and that, which we'll probably get around to later on. But that's the one thing with the CFL is the offseason news and the lack of it. But by the way, if that, there's your CFL talk, by the way, because we're going to move on. And if we got to beat this dead horse that it's the Argos attendance, then I guess we got to do it. Or the Schooners. I'm so over it, which reminds me, Jason in Red Deer is watching and writes in, and he says, I know Danny is also a Jays fan. Any news besides the lockout? Well, there's no news. What else is there? They're supposed to play the Braves today, the reigning World Series champions. What a ballyhooed story that would be. But now more games canceled by Rob Manfred yesterday, Danny.
I think it's a travesty what's happening in the NFL, and in the
MLB. Yeah.
I apologize. And to very quickly related to CFL, I did tweet. I checked last week. There are no CBA talks planned, and I had certain people being like, "Oh, this is brutal. This is just like MLB. They're just delaying it." Nah, man. There's going to be a CBA in the CFL. We're not like it's going to happen. It happens every time. A couple days before training camp starts, they'll get it all signed. What is happening in the MLB? I mean, it was reported yesterday that they came with this international draft last minute, threw it in. Come on, like, what are we doing here? It's like they want to cancel the games. It's as a Jays fan, just as a baseball fan, ultimately, it's one of the things we were talking about, how we need it to be spring. Winter's going on too long. It's one of my favorite things about this time of the year. Spring training starting, you get to watch a couple games here and there. It just makes me so upset that this greed from the owners continues to just every couple years just wipe away.
Yeah, and again, I don't know why I keep referring to Sportsnet, but I see they've been talking about it because they're the primary Blue Jays carrier, and they've got podcasters on there like the Shai Davidis and these guys. Arden Zwelling, which wasn't he the producer also of 90210? Arden Zwelling, I thought.
Isn't that Aaron Spelling?
That's what Arden Zwelling, Aaron Spelling. But I feel sorry for these guys because they have to talk about the Blue Jays. That's what they do in MLB, and there's nothing going on.
Well, and I'm so excited for this Blue Jays season. Once it gets going, I love this team that we have built. I honestly think we're going to be a World Series.
We're getting robbed.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to see them in training camp. I want to be picking over every little detail the way that we do with baseball, and it stinks.
Jason in Red Deer, you triggered Danny. You triggered him.
Well, it does. It stinks.
Way to go.
As a sports fan, the bare minimum that you ask for is play sports. And we don't get that with baseball right now. And I don't see any reason for it. It really, really seems as if the owners just insist on winning every little battle with the players. And it's frustrating. It sucks as a fan. All of us should be angry and disappointed.
But that's also the thing. I would prefer, and with this show we can, talk about who is playing or whatever we want to talk about. And so the Brier, I just got to say the morning draw at the Brier, it's my .4. It sees Manitoba's Mike McEwen scoring off against the winless Jamie Cooey of the Territories. The undefeated Brad Gushu will take on Jason Gunlison. Nova Scotia's Paul Fleming will square off against Quebec's Michael Fournier. And Brent Pierce of British Columbia will see Nunavut's Peter Mackey. By the way, Braden Moscoi, the star big-name third of Team Dunstone, somewhat broke his silence on missing the curling trials. That was really big news in November. The story from Brett Strong. You must know Brett Strong from the Canadian Press. is the top item running at rodpedersen.com right now, so go give that a check. As Braden Muskogee, one of Regina's favorite sons, broke his silence. Got to get to this. CHL Top 10. As we are in all 10 provinces, this is big news. The number one team in all of Canadian junior hockey is the Edmonton Oil Kings. The Winnipeg Ice have been knocked off their perch now for 2 consecutive weeks. Number 2, the Charlottetown Islanders. Number 3, the Hamilton Bulldogs. Number 4, Winnipeg Ice. Number 5, Everett Silvertips. Number 6, Portland Winterhawks. Number 7, the Kamloops Blazers. Number 8, the Shawinigan Cataract. Number 9, Patrick Roy's Quebec Rempart. And number 10, the London Knights. God's team, the Regina Pats, didn't make it in there, but Connor Bedard will be joining us a little later on in hour 2.
Can I ask you a CHL question?
Absolutely.
We're doing a top 10 ranking. I only want the number 1. Best jersey in Canadian junior hockey? It's the Saskatoon
You're
Blades,
looking
right?
at it.
Oh, come on. It's the Saskatoon. I love that jersey.
All time?
Was lucky enough. All I will say is I was lucky enough to cover Saskatoon and the Hitmen a couple weeks back.
It doesn't get nicer than this.
That is a nice jersey. That is. I'm not sure it's better than Saskatoon, but that is an awfully nice jersey. So that's your number 1?
Anything, the blues, the whites, the reds.
Okay.
But that's pretty nice. And I do have a Blades bunny hug, a Saskatchewan for hoodie in my room. So, the Blades one's very good. I got you. And by the way, we'll talk about this NFL stuff in 2 segments from now, okay, Danny? Is that cool?
Sounds great.
We'll let Danny go, and we'll bring in our next guest, Jessi Pierce. But last night, I went out to Canmore to watch my cousin's kid. We're still trying to figure this out. She's my first cousin, Danielle. Her son. What is he? He's telling kids that I'm his uncle, his teammates. But I'm not. I'm some sort of cousin. 30 seconds into the game in Canmore, playoff game against Camrose. Boom, hit from behind. He's down on the ice. She's right beside me. I'm rubbing her back. 30 seconds, Danny.
That's brutal.
I know. And he's rolling her. They take his gloves off. Oh, my. But anyway, he missed 2 shifts, comes back. We have Ethan Schaefer, by the way, one of the top players on the Canmore Eagles. Go look at my Instagram. You'll see him on there. And follow him, Schaefer ET. It was a very emotional night in Canmore last night. Knew how it is following family and stuff. So I love the junior hockey stuff.
AJHL, if you're in Alberta, it's a product that does not get much media attention, but is a whole lot of fun
great.
to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Yeah.
Jessi Pierce joins us next from NHL.com, Minnesota. On the way, Mike Moriali and Connor Bedard as well, and more with Danny Austin. You're watching the RP Show live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time. Big time.
Big time. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
And we're live from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in the beautiful gateway to the foothills. A lot of energy going on, a lot of things going on out here in Calgary, like the CEBL champions taking on the Americans live here next week. The Basketball Champions League Americas, known as the BCLA, is the best continental league in the Americas. It's created through an innovative partnership between FIBA, national federations, and pro basketball leagues, and it's coming to Calgary next week. The CEBL, we all know that league. They're going to be represented by the champion Edmonton Stingers in the tournament at Winsport Arena, home of Hockey Canada. We want to see you there. Moose and I will be there at Winsport. We want you to join us. Tickets are on sale now at cebl.ca. If that all seems a little confusing, the commissioner, Mike Moriarty, will be joining us in hour 2 of the program to talk about it. But we're talking hockey now. It's been far too long since Jessi Pierce joined us from NHL.com. She covers the Minnesota Wild. She hosts the Bar Down Beauties podcast, and she joins us today. Hey, Jessi, listen, welcome back to the program. The boys are saying, we got to get Jessi on. Minnesota State championships are going on. She's all over it. The rinks are packed. It's hype. What's going on in Minnesota State? Tell me about the tournament down there.
The tourney, as it is belovedly known, it is unlike anything else that I think anybody's ever witnessed. I know we're very spoiled here in Minnesota to have such a tournament. I mean, you're filling the XL Energy Center to watch high school hockey, and that's quarterfinal games. That's not even just the championship. So, I know Minnesota takes a lot of pride in their hockey from the grassroots on up, and the tourney is just one feather in the cap that everybody certainly likes. It's, if you've never been, Rod, you got to get out here, and I'll show you a good time. It's a heck of a time.
Well, so tell me more. You've piqued my interest. Like the guy said, in Minnesota, they're going nuts. They're like, let's bring everybody in on this. So who are the teams? What are we down to? Take me through it, Jessi, if you don't mind.
Yes. It started yesterday, so you've got Class A and Class AA. And in Minnesota, it's very unique. It's a very community-based hockey program we have here. So from the time that you're a youth, you usually stay all the way up through with your high school team. There's no AAA. There's no leaving for juniors. It's kind of, you take such pride in putting that jersey on because you want to play in the state tournament. I mean, it's broadcast on local cable here in Minnesota. Channel 45 does such a great job of all the games. So Class A started yesterday. I'm a Matamidi Zephyr alum. They were in it. They won yesterday. They advanced. Today is the Class AA, which is designed for bigger schools, some private schools, Edinas, which I'm sure is one familiar squad. It's funny, in Minnesota, we joke that this is the time of year when the North hates the cities and everybody hates Edina. So that's kind of what it's all about. It's about those rivalries. Just a lot of fun. I mean, you ask any NHL player about the tourney that's from Minnesota, and they immediately will go in on, yep, I played in it, I've done this and that, or even just a fan. It's the day when you're allowed to play hooky. Nobody goes to school on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday because you're out at the tourney. Parents are doing the same from hockey or from work, it's just something else. And it's great because it's turned into even more than just the game. And once you get into Friday night games where there's a quarterfinal games and Saturday, obviously the championship, you're seeing that elite skill. But what's even better is now the hockey hair has taken on a life of its own. Yesterday, you're watching guys who are either got the full blonde, they've got the mullets, they've got the fros, they've got mustaches. I mean, and these are high school kids too. It's just really, really cool. They skate up to the camera, they do a little kiss, they do a little hi, mom. But it's a tradition. It's something that Minnesota is so incredibly proud of. And it's good hockey to boot. Like I said, a lot of these guys, the seniors going Division I, some will end up maybe playing in the pros, but it's yielded a lot of great products out of it as well. So it's unreal. It really is. It's hard. It's like Texas in football. That's the biggest comparison, but it still is something really special here in Minnesota.
Well, I love it. And our viewers are chiming in. Ryan in New York says some of the flow that the players sport in this tournament is A1, makes this Baldy wishing that he had hair again. Nelson Vo, our content creator, says, shout out to TJ Oshie's War Road. Tacona in Winnipeg says it's been on television there, so it wouldn't surprise you in Hockey Mad Canada that they're watching up here, Jessi. By the way, the last time I was in Minnesota was the weekend the roof caved into the Metrodome, okay? And it was the worst storm in 27 years in Minnesota history. Do you remember that weekend? I'm like, I'm not coming back. Not in the winter anytime. That was the last time that I was in Minneapolis. But listen, Jessi, I bring you on because you know your stuff, and I'm going to get to the Wild in a moment. But you talked about the crowd at XL Energy Center. Here in Calgary, they filled the Saddledome last week for the first time post-COVID. Edmonton last night, full house Rogers Arena. Are you getting the sense that the fans are like, there's an extra oomph given what we've been through to come out and watch these kids?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Minnesota's been fortunate. They've had a pretty good crowd allowance throughout most of the year, right, as most of the states have. But yeah, I mean, I think just in general, people are excited to kind of get that normalcy, right? I think everybody missed that interaction. Like, it was nice for a little while to take a break from people, but eventually you need to kind of get back. I mean, hockey is a sport that needs to be seen in person. Everybody that is a fan of the game knows that, right? And it's just feeding off the crowd, feeding off the atmosphere. I mean, Minnesota Wild players have said that from day one. They were like, this crowd gets rocky. And I'm sure every team feels that way in their home facility when there are fans. So I'm so happy to see that Canada's finally getting their due, especially the Calgary Flames, man. Whew, what a squad that is. You want your fans to be able to experience what's going on there. A very special product for sure.
As they say, they're a wagon. I don't know where that term came from. It's new, but I'll take it. And here's the thing. When I say that you know your stuff, Jessi, more than me, because in the fall when they bought out Suter and Parisi in Minnesota, I said, is this the start of a rebuild? And you're like, no. I guess it was to give Kaprizov more money, but you got their record over your shoulder there. They're a wagon. Yeah. I guess we didn't see this coming for the Flames, but you did for the Minnesota Wild. Now they're third in the Central, but are they right? That's a hell of a record.
And actually I need to update that because it's 33 because they just got a victory the other night against the New York Rangers as well. The wheels are coming a little loose on the wagon. They certainly have slightly exceeded expectations, I think, for some people. And third in the West is great, but they're starting to hit some of those injuries. March is a jam-packed month for the Minnesota Wild. They've got 9 straight home games at one point in time, which is nice that they're at home. But, I mean, it's game after game, back-to-backs, one night off, which I'm sure it's across the league, too, so that's no excuse. But, the concern is kind of maybe back at the blue line. Do they have the power to get through this? And then your goaltending as well. But all in all, I mean, yeah, it's been a very great year. There's been something special about this Minnesota Wild team because even when they are in a losing streak or a little bit of a slump, there's no panic amongst the team. The media loves to hit the panic button real quick, right? But you can sense in the locker room, they know that they can get out of it. They have that belief in themselves that they can get out of it. And they're such a tight, close team that, especially now with the trade deadline looming, they want to make sure that they're performing their best because they want to keep this team together. They don't want to have to force Billy Guerin's hand to make some moves and to better the team. They think they can do have success with the squad that's in that room. So, and they've shown it. I mean, they've got the depth, they've got star power. You just a couple tweaks here and there. It's looking pretty all right. And yes, going back to those buyouts, it has done well for Minnesota, I think.
Right. Well, it shows. It shows. Jessi, quick and painless. I appreciate the update. I'm so glad you're having so much fun following the tourney. And hopefully we can bring you on soon here as things heat up down the stretch in the NHL.
Hey, anytime. I love it. Thanks for having me.
Jessi Pierce from NHL.com. She covers the Wild for the NHL's official website and host of the Bar Down Beauties podcast. Danny Austin back in after this break. Mike Morreale and Connor Bedard on the way today. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and of course, available wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital GMC for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or reserve a unit that's already on its way. Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital GMC in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Okay, it is viewer takeover here in the RP Show. And it's been so much fun. Danny Austin joining us here at Grey Eagle Event Center. Well, we're in the casino. Normally, we're at the Event Center. And by the way, People are checking the text line. They're sending it in. Clark, if you don't mind, can you go open it up? Cold as ice. I want to know what love is. Jason and Red here. They're writing in with their favorite Foreigner songs, and I think that we want to get it to somebody in the area. Unless, John, you want to come all the way out from Winnipeg to Foreigner here at the Grey Eagle. We're not going to say no, but that's quite a bit of a road trip. Larry Dye in Medicine Hat watching on Game Plus TV says, I honestly thought the smaller stadium in Toronto would bring the fans out for a more intimate setting, but it's embarrassing to see empty stands. Get out of Toronto when the horse is dead. Dismount. Yeah, well, right? You would think. But I want to talk NFL with Danny Austin, who's here from the Calgary Sun and Herald. Brian, watching in Saskatchewan, says, hey, Rod, sorry I'm a bit behind on episodes, but remember when Russell Wilson was on the BC Lions neg list and how a small mobile quarterback would be a great fit in the CFL and may not pan out in the NFL? How times have changed. Adapt or die, man. The leagues evolve in terms of on the field, off the field, and that's what I wanted to ask you, Danny. I never did get to my Carson Wentz situation. It was my 6th point that he was dealt yesterday to Washington from Indianapolis. What a crazy week in the NFL.
Yeah, I will say, I recognize that Russell Wilson has been a great quarterback. I love this trade for Seattle.
Yeah?
Oh, man. 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Forget everything else. And you got, what, a starting tight end out of it as well?
Yeah.
That's a great deal. Russell Wilson has not been great for the last year and a half. I honestly think getting a quarterback who can start and win you games and win you playoff games is hard, incredibly hard. So I understand why anytime you deal away a guy of that caliber, there's going to be there are fans who are going to be upset, and it does set you back. But 2 firsts and 2 seconds, you can reload in a hurry. And I love that. That's what they should be doing. And honestly, I think that it maybe is dealing Russell Wilson a year or 2 early, but you're getting those picks back, and I think it sets you up for the next decade.
101. Moving him ahead of...
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
Exactly.
Who do you identify, which NFL team do you identify yourself as a fan, if you can?
Oh, the Bills. Without
the Toronto guy. Okay. Yeah. Well, because here's why. I think I got to bring this up with Morreale next hour, and Danny's going to stay with us. God bless him for doing so. It was Jeff O'Neill, who I think was on this show, who said the team that gets the best player wins the trade. And I've been in this business over 30 years working, a fan before that. I'd never really heard that before. And I'm not willing to immediately discount that phrase or that ideology. But you're saying the Seahawks won the trade?
I mean, look, I think that...
But and if that's the case, the best player went to Denver, so you would say they won the trade. I'm not sure that I agree with that saying. It sounds great, but I'm not... Gretzky, I'm sorry to go off here, but Gretzky, 88. Who won the trade? Because the Oilers went on to win a Stanley Cup 2 years later. Maybe you're not old enough. You probably aren't.
I know the story. I wasn't paying attention.
It was the last day I ever cheered for the Edmonton Oilers, by the way, but... Let's just examine that for a second. Do you agree with that?
I think in certain sports I agree with that. I think in the NBA, it's basically impossible to deal a superstar in the NBA. Unless you got a superstar back. I mean, it doesn't matter if you got 5 pieces, 5 prospects. You need that superstar. So in the NBA, I absolutely agree. In the NHL, I think there's some truth to it. I don't necessarily think it's true in football. I think football is such a... You're constantly trying to renew. I think in football, dealing away a quarterback is generally something that I would advise against if that quarterback...
Yeah.
But you won a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson. They got the best years of his career, and now they begin preparing for the next decade ahead. And I just... For me, in football, the more young assets you have, the better off you're going to be. And look, whatever happens with the Broncos, they might win the Super Bowl. I don't think that they will. I don't think Russell Wilson puts them over the edge. They've been looking for a quarterback since Peyton Manning, so I do understand why they would make this deal. But ultimately, were the Seattle Seahawks going to win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson in the next couple of years? No. So start preparing for next.
I like it too. But on the O-Dog philosophy, they lost the trade, and I want to kick this around. You think about it in the break. We'll talk about it next hour. It's a hell of a thought. Mike Morreale, Connor Bedard, and more with Danny Austin coming up after this break here on Game Plus TV and live streaming on YouTube from the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Gotta shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Good morning, Rod Squad.
Maybe tomorrow I'll tell you guys about the big game that I went to in San Antonio with Snoop Dogg. Remember that one, Clark? The Lakers and Spurs? Snoop Dogg and I went, Bob.
How about that?
Snoop Dogg was sitting courtside. I was up in the nosebleeds, but we were in the arena at the same time. I was there with him.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
What a day, what a day. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, everybody. Proudly brought to you by Great Western Original 16 Beer, the best beer in the game. Oh, boy, we covered a lot of ground. Danny Austin from the Calgary Sun, Stampeders, Flames, Hitman beat writer, good enough to spend the day with us. And he's got a break here as our next guest is loaded up and ready to join us, and we'll get to him in a moment. We've been covering a lot of things. There were only 2 NHL games last night, so we talked about the Oilers beating the Capitals at home, the Canucks beating Montreal last night. 2 big games involving Canadian teams, but only 2 games in the NHL. And I want to mention our poll question. For whatever reason, and our next guest may have a thought on this, who is the best player in the NHL right now. Because Austin Matthews is on fire. I just can't believe they're talking about him being the best Leaf ever. But our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall, Universal Collision Center, with dealerships all across the prairies, including right here in Calgary, plus Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Regina. The options are Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews, Alex Ovechkin, or Igor Shesterkin, the star goalie for the New York Rangers. Last I looked, Connor McDavid running away with it. I just think people are caught up in the prisoners of the moment thing with Austin Matthews. And I'm dealing with my family today. I went out and watched my cousin. We're trying to figure this out. Junior A game last night in Canmore. Beautiful Canmore, Alberta. And they said, come out and watch our kid. It's my first cousin's kid. We can't figure out what it is. Ethan Schaefer. He's calling me his uncle. 30 seconds into the game. Playoff game against Camrose. Boom. Hit from behind into the boards. Mom's losing it. I'm rubbing her back. He's going to be okay, but I don't know. He only missed 2 shifts, thank God. Came back, played great. They won the game, 2-2. And, going back and forth with them this morning. So it's busy. There's energy in this city. And Mike Morreale, I think, is in the city, the commissioner of the CEBL. I'm not sure. Danny Austin said he just interviewed Mike yesterday. It kind of looks like you're in your home office. Hey, Commish. Where are you joining us from today?
I am at home. I am from Nicaragua to here and leaving first thing in the morning tomorrow to Calgary. So excited about that.
We're excited for you to get here. I plan to be at the media day at the Westin on Friday. Let's just tell folks what's coming again, because it's kind of new for people that aren't basketball people. This is a big deal at WinSport just next week.
Yeah, we are playing in the final stage of the Champions League of Americas through FIBA. So ourselves, our team is represented by the Edmonton Stingers, who has been our champions the last 2 years. We're playing against 11 other league champions across North, Central, and South America. So this is a really big deal. The winner of this tournament actually goes on to represent the Americas at the Intercontinental Cup against Africa, Europe, and the G League. And last year's winner of the Americas, the tournament we're playing in, won the Intercontinental Cup a few weeks ago. So you can tell the level of competition just by that. It is fierce. And we're going into our final stage. It will be held in Alberta and specifically in Calgary at the WinSport Arena, March 14th, 15th, and 16th. The Canadian team, the Edmonton Stingers, our team, plays the 14th and 16th. And we need to win 2 games to get on to the final 8 a couple weeks from now. So you're going to see some of the best world-class basketball for sure outside of the NBA in Calgary for the first time ever and the first basketball game of any kind at the WinSport Arena. So we're incredibly excited about it. I know our team is happy to finally be at home, to play on home soil, and now we just need that Canadian proud fan base just to come out and support us.
I don't know what it is, Mike. I think it's you. Every time you're on, the viewers' questions just go nuts. So I'll get to theirs in a minute. They love you, Mike. But before we talk about the Calgary event, how has the Stingers fared so far down south? You said you were just in Nicaragua and it was El Salvador as well, was it not? How did they make out down there?
Well, we'll say we because this is the only time I get to jump on the team bandwagon. I can't, as a commissioner, pick and choose. So this is the only team playing at this time. We're representing the CBL, so I'm all in 100%. We started our first group stage back a few months ago in Nicaragua. We won our first ever game. So first Canadian team to win in the Americas on our first ever try. Since then, we have gone to battle, but I've been on the losing end. So we're sitting at 1-3. Puerto Rico's ahead with 7 points. Esteli, who is the ones that we beat initially, are in second place with 6 points, and we're right behind at 5. But we have a very real chance of winning our games here, especially against Esteli from Nicaragua, to go into the final 8, which is going to be played in South America. So we are set up for success. We have to win some games. We've got the ability to bring all those guys. I just came from 95-degree weather, so they're in for a rude awakening when they get to Calgary. And it's actually going to be nice outside. But compared to what they're used to, I'm hoping that cold factor may impair them a little bit, especially once we get inside that arena.
Well, it certainly worked for the national men's soccer team against Costa Rica, as you know, up in Edmonton, so I don't think we can discount that. But here's one for you, Mike. I've been in Calgary 5-6 weeks now, And they are identifying us as CEBL people. So they said, oh, so the Stingers are coming. It's too bad we're not going to get to see Xavier Moon because he's gone to the Clippers. I'm like, come watch the next Xavier Moon. You know what I mean? Like, that's the whole idea here.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate you can't see Xavier Moon, but from our perspective, that is exactly the thing we want to do. We want to provide the pathways to the NBA. If we can graduate Xavier Moon to the NBA, we've done our job. And, but there are a ton of great players on that team. We've been able to assemble our best roster yet. It'll be released later on today. Jordan Baker will be joining us, who is our Canadian champion player of the year a couple years ago, back-to-back champion with the Edmonton Stingers. He'll be joined by a bunch of our all-stars across the CBL. We've added 3 new imports, including Travis Daniels, who was once a Edmonton Stinger as well. So we're in a good position. What you'll realize from a fan base is our style of play in Canada is a lot different than the international style. So we really need to work on doing what we do well, and that's running up and down the court using our athleticism. The international game is tough. There's moving screens. There's a lot of physicality. There's a lot of tempo play. There's a lot of very tactical way in which they play. And this is, we're going against teams with average age in the, low 30s, where we're probably in the mid to high 20s. So, it is a challenge, but it's exactly the position we want to be in if we play our game. And I think from fan perspective, you're going to see national team members across all 3 teams. Certainly in Puerto Rico and Nicaragua, you have guys that just came off, playing together for 10 years, playing in huge games and World Cups and Olympics and World Championships. So that's the advantage they have. The advantage we have is speed and athleticism, and that's what we need to put on full display in the coming week.
As you can well imagine, 90% of the questions from our viewers pertain to expansion, and I'm not even sure today's the day to talk about that. But my question for you kind of rolls all that into one. Why Calgary? Because you don't have a team in Calgary. So why WinSport? Why are you playing this here?
Great question. And when we figured out that Edmonton was going to be representing the league, we first, of course, wanted to play in their home market. It's a great market, great venue. The venue is undergoing construction. So, we took a step back and said, listen, Calgary's always been on the radar. The one thing with Calgary is we didn't know about a suitable venue to play. There's no real mid-size venue. You got the Saddle Dome and you got nothing else. So we always wanted to figure out if it would work. This seemed like the logical step to keep the game in Alberta, to have an Alberta team represented in Calgary, and to look at the WinSport Arena as an opportunity. It seems like a perfect fit, although it's never held a basketball game ever. So we're going to put a lot of bells and whistles into this, and hanging video boards and lighting and speakers, and of course the court nets and everything. It's going to be a full transformation that'll start, I think, actually today. And, it's our chance now to test the market. And we're not going to hang our hat on what happens in this game, bad, good, or otherwise, but is a really good taste of the style of basketball, what the CBL is all about, the world-class nature of the CBL, the entire league, including the Stingers. So I would love to have a team in Calgary as soon as possible. And I think this is a really big first step to getting there.
Well, this is what I'll say to our viewers that are writing in with all these questions. I will say, buy tickets at cebl.ca. Come on down to WinSport and ask Mike yourself. And I'll be there.
Absolutely.
You can ask me too. Yeah, I think that would be the best way to do it. And lastly, the question, do you identify yourself as a Leafs fan, Mike?
I am not. I am not a Leafs fan. I find it hard to follow a team that really doesn't have to do much to have the fans show up every day. I feel like you got to earn it, right? And that's just my take, having lived here. Some people will hate me for it. I know people in my own office will hate me for it, but I think you got to prove something to the fan base to have them continue to come back. And in Toronto, it just seems like they come back anyways. So there you go.
Who are you a fan of in the NHL?
You know what? I'm a fan of good playoff hockey. I didn't grow up a hockey guy. My friends all played hockey. I played soccer, obviously got football. So I like playoff hockey. I think it's fun to watch. I wait until the playoff time to enjoy my time in front of the TV.
Believe me, I get it. Well, I teed this up before you came on. Who would you vote for as the best player in the NHL right now? McDavid, Matthews, Ovi, or the goalie in New York, Igor Shesterkin?
I got to go with McDavid. Just the consistency in which he plays, the level at which he plays. I don't know how you can deny him being the top player.
Absolutely, I agree. That's who I voted for as well. Mike, as always, appreciate the time. We'll see you when you get to town.
Great. Nice seeing you again, Russ. Hi to my buddy Lee and Darren and everybody there. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely, we will. The commissioner of the CEBL, two-time Grey Cup champion, Mike Morreale, one of our favorite guys. Big media day down here tomorrow at the Westin, and then the tournament beginning next week, and you can get your tickets at cebl.ca. John in Edmonton writes in, John Kirby, he says, thanks for having no Stingers game scheduled when the Edmonton Elks play this year at home. Interesting. I wonder if they looked at, I don't know if the CFL schedule was out when they did that or not. My cousin Christine in Medicine Hat wants to know if Mike's a Raptors fan. Probably. But as a commissioner of an entirely Canadian-based pro league, he is more a fan of his own league. And by the way, the people are asking about expansion to Winnipeg, expansion to Halifax. And I know Mike pretty well, but I don't know him well enough to say what his take would be on expansion. My thing, this is where me and Moose Dupont are different. I often say if you're looking too far down in the distance, you're going to trip over something and fall where you're at. Somebody needs to have those grand plans, and maybe it's the commissioner. I don't know, but I worry about the stuff that's right here. John Ohm in Winnipeg watching says, classy guy, that Mike. Right? Well, I love him so much. Randy from the Peg says, I agree, Mike, first round of NHL playoffs is the best no matter what the teams. For sure, we say that every year. And it usually is, but I like every round, I like every night, I like every regular season game, but that's just me. I'm a bit of a freak that way when it comes to hockey. And speaking of, as I'm driving around, going to these towns, WHL games, Junior A games, NHL games, they're all telling me that they have the show on in their dressing room every morning. So for the Dubsters, I had to mention this. In Medicine Hat last night, Josh Williams and Justin Sordoff scored 2 goals each as the Edmonton Oil Kings ran their winning streak to 12 games with a 7-3 win over the Tigers. In Brandon, Carson Bjarnason made 32 saves to help set up Brandon's 2-1 overtime victory over Calgary. In Saskatoon, Brandon Lazowski scored twice, including the game winner with 30 seconds to go in overtime as the Blades edged Lethbridge 4-3. And there were 2 games out west. Blake Swetlikoff racked up a goal and 3 points as Spokane defeated Vancouver 5-2. And in Victoria, Cross Hannes scored 2 goals and assisted on 2 others as Portland beat Victoria 5-2. How nice is this? You just get the sense that COVID's behind us. Am I the only one? Like Portland's able to get into Victoria. The border's open. I'm not totally sure what this means in terms of COVID and so forth because the Moose is in Phoenix. I'm headed back to Florida. We still got to get COVID tests. But we're getting there. By the way, hour 2 of the RP show is brought to you by Great Western Original 16 beer. The best beer in the game. Brewed in Saskatchewan, made with premium Saskatchewan ingredients. Original 16 is unfiltered for peak flavor. When we come back, Danny Austin rejoins us from the Calgary Sun and the Calgary Herald. He is the beat writer for the Stampeders, the Flames, and the Hitmen. And we'll talk about all of these topics, okay? And whatever you want to discuss with us. Going to be a lot of fun. When we come back, you're watching on Game Plus TV live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, also live streaming on YouTube. And if you missed any portion of the show, catch the podcast on Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. By the way, I think we've designated a winner. We will be texting the winner back. We were asking which is your favorite Foreigner song, and to write us on the 902 text line. A lot of folks did, and we will be in touch with the winner March 19th and 20th here at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Foreigner, the hits on tour. If you weren't lucky enough to win tickets, you can purchase them at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Just ahead of bringing Danny Austin in from the Calgary Sun and Herald, a sports update. 4 Canadian teams are in action as part of a busy slate in the NHL. The Leafs host Arizona. The Ottawa Senators welcome the Seattle Kraken. Jets visit New Jersey. And a big one here tonight in Calgary in the Saddle Dome, the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames. Big NBA matchup when the Brooklyn Nets visit the Philadelphia 76ers. This is the first meeting between the two sides since the blockbuster trade that saw Philly trade for former MVP James Harden from Brooklyn for Ben Simmons. Tiger Woods was inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame last night. He choked up talking about his late father who instilled the need to work hard and earn results. Tiger has 82 wins on the PGA Tour and 15 majors. His influence on the sport is among the greatest ever seen. And baseball commissioner Rob Manfred canceled 93 more games Wednesday, looking to cut off the chance to play a full 162-game schedule and threatening locked out players with loss of salary and service time. This sports update presented by Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. I'm just interested as we bring Danny Austin back in on what I said. Flames, Stamps, and Hitman. Will you be covering the Flames tonight?
I will not be covering the Flames.
Because you've got it staffed So basically, if they go on this long run, which everybody expects, that'll be your life this spring, I assume.
Yeah, I'll hop in. Honestly, I mean, Wes Gilbertson, Kristen Odland are our two sort of Flames full-time reporters, and they do a great job. So when they say, Danny, come join us, that's when I'll answer the call. But until then, sort of doing cleanup. Obviously not much CFL stuff. The Hitmen are on the road until sort of, I think, March 25th or 26th. So it's fun having the CBL come in. This is kind of the fun part of the job. I just get to learn about new sports and new sporting organizations. So that's kind of what I'm doing this week.
Well, like I say, I enjoy the variety of what we've been talking about here today. Not being locked down and saddled to one team. I like that. The NLL, the CEBL, the NFL, CFL, whatever we want to talk about.
That's awesome.
Yeah, now, I hit something that you mentioned last hour. You remember Muhammad Ali coming to an Argo game when you were a kid. There's a lot of funny stories about that game. That was like 20 years ago. Does that sound right?
Yeah, probably about that.
Yeah, because I know some guys that played in that game. They thought it was pretty cool. Some of them, if you can believe, didn't know who he was. That may or may not.
Hard for me to believe, to be honest.
I know. Well, I don't want to name who it was. A friend of mine was playing in that game, and he's like, "Who's this guy? I got more Grey Cup rings than this guy. Why are they honoring this guy?"
Yeah,
that happened.
That's not good. That's the story he should be embarrassed about.
I know. I'll tell you in the break who it was. Mike Abu-Meshrik. Anyways, but you remembered that. That's my point. And the Saddle Dome last Saturday, they dragged a freaking wrestling ring out onto the ice. 7,494 people stayed to watch pro wrestling after. So it's not just about the game, because, for instance, Daryl in Toronto has tweeted us. He says, it's hard in Toronto. Football has kind of died in terms of football signups, and high school football programs folded drastically. Is it about getting the kids playing the game, or is it about marketing sizzle? Or both?
It's a combination of a lot of things. And I mean, that is always what prompted you to ask me was sort of during one of the breaks, I was saying it's incredibly complicated, and I don't like when people say, you need more billboards or something, or things like that.
Advertising.
Look, I mean, is there anywhere in this country producing more elite football players than Brampton, Ontario right now? You know, that's what, 45 minutes away from BMO? So, no, I do agree that, you know, in the city of Toronto itself, you know, there are issues in terms of just people playing football. I also have heard many people say Toronto's just not a great football city. You know, the Bills didn't really work out there, although there's a lot of reasons. Look, there are always multiple sides to every, you know, coin when we talk about the Argos. I can tell you, I think BMO is horribly located for 7 o'clock starts in a city where traffic is terrible.
Where did you grow up in Toronto?
I grew up in a neighborhood called Leaside, so sort of Bayview and St. Clair, for people who know. It's just outside of downtown, just north of
Other side of where BMO is?
Yes.
Or,
yeah, it is.
So it would be a pain for you to go to BMO.
Huge pain, and it's, you know, it is hard. It can be hard to get there. That said, you can also make the effort. And I always feel so guilty talking about this, because I think there's so many amazing things happening with the Argos organization, and the fans who do go are awesome. And I mean, none of us like what happened at the end of the East Final, but I can say, you know, as a Torontonian, you know, born and raised, it was so exciting to see BMO filled with Ticats fans. Seeing that rivalry sort of come alive at the end of last year really gave me hope. But it doesn't necessarily give me hope for a regular season game between the Stampeders and Argos in the middle of July that we're going to get 15,000 people in.
Well, that's the thing. The CFL always shines in the playoffs. I watched that game from a Outback Steakhouse in Lighthouse Point, Florida, and it looked great on television. It looked very cold. I was very happy with where I was. But they seem very happy with where they were. But here's another one for the Toronto people. Because let's be honest, a lot of people in Eastern Canada watching this program on Game Plus right now. I think it's a whole lot of excuses. For instance, you mentioned Skydome and how it hurt the Argos back in the day. And people say, I don't want to go downtown. It's cavernous. It's this, it's that. You go to Leafs, Raptors, and Blue Jays games. So it just seems like an excuse to me.
It does. It does. And it's all excuses. And ultimately, like, I have this problem where when I get home, all of my friends want to know what's going on with the CFL. But in Toronto, I said this last time, they just literally it doesn't slap them in the face. They don't get confronted with it. So the CFL can be too easy to ignore, and that is not simply a Toronto problem. That's a problem here in Calgary. That's a problem certainly in Vancouver and Montreal. It's a problem in a lot of markets. We need to make the CFL. It just needs to be automatic that you know what's going on with your CFL team. That's the start. And I don't know how you fix that. And the reason we're talking about Toronto is just because I love the Argos. I love that team. I love the organization. I want to see. I think that the product they are going to put on the field this year. I said it to you earlier. They're my Grey Cup pick. I honestly believe that they're going to be the best team in the CFL this year. My only question is the quarterback, but I think they're going to be great on defense. I think they're going to win the Grey Cup, and I hope that is communicated and that is understood by fans and by people who might be interested in becoming fans right from the start of the season.
I'll get to the viewers' comments in overtime. We got Danny here. We're going to ask him the things that he's into. Not that you're not into. Like, for instance, Jennifer from the Four Seasons writes, is the Carolina-Colorado game is going to be a good one? That's tonight. We'll talk about that later. But I just want to get to this with Danny. The heart of the matter, because we don't talk a lot about Toronto things. We're a Western Canadian-based show. We talk about Western Canadian things. John Kirby in Edmonton says, thoughts on Edmonton beating the Calgary Hitmen twice in 1 week? Edmonton's the number one team in the CHL. I covered that earlier. That shouldn't surprise anybody. And the Hitmen are struggling out on this road trip as they had to vacate the Saddle Dome. From Ring of Fire Calgary, he says, hey guys, do you think the crazy roster turnover year after year is an issue in the CFL? I think the individual teams would have more of a following if they were able to keep star players for longer. I would say dig into our YouTube. You're watching on YouTube. Go back and watch the interview with Jeff Fairholm, who played with both Saskatchewan and Toronto. He covered that lengthily. He said the one-year contracts are killing the CFL.
So, and I'm going to say, as the Calgary Stampeders beat reporter, if that is a problem that people feel, well, the Stampeders signed a lot of guys to 2-year deals this offseason. They have a lot of guys coming back, not just for 2022, but 2023. So they are addressing that problem on their own, and they're doing it realistically probably for competitive reasons. But that has started in Calgary. And again, the only way to fix that is to financially incentivize players to sign for 2 years, because otherwise you're going to get your signing bonus. It is on the teams, not the players, to make that work. It's the only way.
Yes, and as a guy that's been around the block for a long time, I finally realized that the coaches and GMs don't care about marketing. It's not their deal, and the marketing people don't really care about the coaches and GMs. They're separate. They're in opposite buildings. They'll never sit down and agree on how this should go. As you just said, Huff's signing guys to long-term deals or multi-year deals for winning purposes, not marketing purposes.
No.
Right? And that's it. That's never going to change. That's every team on the planet. But back to the Toronto thing for a second. And by the way, Connor Bedard coming up next segment. Are they waiting on the NFL? Because I'm so over Schooners talk, CFL Toronto attendance talk. I'm over NFL and Toronto talk. Why are they not over it? Do they still think it's going to happen?
Someone has to explain to me where the money is going to come from to make the NFL work. We've certainly heard Larry Tenenbaum. It's been a long-term goal of his for decades to get the CFL or the NFL. I apologize. No, I honestly don't think Toronto it would work. I honestly don't think that the NFL.
But are they waiting on it? That's the question.
They better have $10 billion, because I honestly think that's how much it would cost to bring the NFL to Canada. So you have to have someone with very, very deep pockets. And I think that the NFL's failures, realistically, in Toronto, would mean that there would be a little bit of skepticism from any billionaire or MLSE in bringing in an NFL team. I don't think it's a guarantee. And I honestly think that with the cost of land in Toronto, the city of Toronto would have to obviously be involved, the province would have to be involved, and you'd have to find the right location on the subway. I just think there are a lot of, if you really know Toronto, there are a lot of logistical issues that would run up against it. So no, I do not believe that they're waiting for Toronto, and maybe that is me with my CFL colored glasses here. But it's just, I don't see it happening.
Yeah. Well, Blue Jays are getting a new stadium, huh?
Supposedly.
They haven't broken ground on that?
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, and truthfully, I shouldn't speak too much about that because I don't know the details. You're going to have to replace the Sky Dome at some point again. we all, certainly here in Calgary, know how hard it can be to get government money. A football stadium isn't $600 million the way the NHL arena here in Calgary is going to be. It is worth noting that the Air Canada Centre, or I guess Scotiabank Arena we call it now, was not built with public money, right? I mean, that was a private enterprise. So you may need Rogers to come in and look at how much, what was it, $5 billion?
Yeah, open their own books.
Yeah,
right.
that stadium in LA was about $5 billion. That's a football stadium. It's probably a little bit less, but it's probably going to be $3 billion, realistically, to build a football stadium in one of the most expensive real estate markets in the world. So yeah, it's going to be an expensive one. So I think that is in the media to start the process, but the process is going to take a long time.
Yeah, and Takona Powley's watching in Winnipeg. He says, good answer. Now embrace the CFL, Toronto. But I don't want to put words in Danny's mouth. He just said it's next to impossible for them to come back in Toronto. Is that?
I mean, that is sort of how I feel. With that said, I would, rather than being doom and gloom, show up. If you watch this year's team, Tavares Daniels, Dwan Breskison, I can basically just name the 2018 Calgary Stampeders team that I covered, and they're all now there. But Jagarrett Davis, I have so much time for the group that they put together. I think Ryan Dinwiddie is a great coach. Corey Mace is going to be a great DC. Pinball Clemens, not just all the charisma in the world, but is clearly willing to put the money where the mouth is and put a winning team on the field. Honestly, I don't know that they're going to start selling out games. But if you go to a Toronto Argonauts game this season, I promise you're going to be entertained.
I get this distinct sense, before I let you go and we'll bring in Connor Bedard, that they're a little upset in Calgary that this Argos team has been built on the foundation of those old Stampeders teams. But if I can tell you, Danny, before you were covering this league, I got in 1999. The foundation of the Saskatchewan Roughriders under Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett was built on guys by the names of Eddie Davis, Henry Burris, Ray Jacobs, Travis Moore. It's just flattery.
100%. And I also will say that I, possibly with the exception of Jagarrett Davis, don't think there are that many players on this Argos team who the Stampeders didn't let walk.
Right.
And you can argue Marky Thambles is a guy that they might have wanted to stay, but they got Jordan Williams-Lambert. They got their big-bodied, probably not number one target receiver who can block, so they replaced him. Jagarrett Davis, when he joined the Ticats, I honestly believe that the Stampeders wouldn't have traded Charleston Hughes away if they'd known they were going to lose Jagarrett Davis a year later. But the Stampeders, Eric Rogers is a great Stampeder, is historically just an important guy for the team over the last 10 years. They traded him. The Argos didn't sign him. The Stampeders traded him to Toronto. And there's a lot of that. So, look, I can't help who I am. I'm a Toronto guy. I grew up cheering for the Argos. I'm very happy with the team. I love that there might be a little bit of a Calgary-Toronto rivalry. There's always that little bit of a rivalry, and it's only going to get better. And the problem is, I know these guys. I can't tell you that the Argos are bad dudes. The Argos are awesome.
Of course.
Like they're some of the nicest guys in the league who have joined up. Corey Mace being, right at the top of that list. Josh Bell, defensive backs coach, awesome. Ryan Dinwiddie's a great guy. So it's a fun rivalry. I hope that Stamps fans are annoyed and are mad about it, but I have a feeling the Stamps are going to be an awfully good team this year as well.
I get the sense it's not just the Stamps, or not just the fans, it's the Stamps themselves as well. But Danny, thanks for this, and I will see you in Calgary's Best Buffet in 20 minutes.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Danny Austin from the Calgary Sun and Herald. Connor Bedard on the way next, and then overtime as we get into Viewer Takeover. All your thoughts on the day. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network, live from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary. Also live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at Flame Tech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. BDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital GMC for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or reserve a unit that's already on its way. Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital GMC in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You're looking live at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Another beautiful morning here in the gateway to the foothills on the Tsuut'ina Nation. And hey, there are no WHL games tonight, but the Regina Pats are hurtling their way to another 2-game home weekend. This particular weekend, Friday night in the Brand Center, they got Calgary and Lethbridge coming in there. And we're excited to welcome to the program Connor Bedard of the Regina Pats. Checking that schedule. Lethbridge Friday, Calgary Saturday. Connor, good to see you again, my friend. How are things?
Yeah, good to see you. Pretty good. I mean, obviously a big stretch for us these last 17 games. So, we're all pretty excited. But how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm missing more Pats games than I would like, Connor, I'll be honest. But duty calls, They've asked us to come out here. And they're talking about your most recent swing through here with the Regina Pats. And they were all close games, 1-goal losses. And you were, as usual, a human highlight reel. Can you talk about those tight games out here in Alberta? And you got some points out of it, fortunately, how tough it was, and then nice to be back home.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely frustrating. I think, we've been in almost every game, and, we even Edmonton, we tie them late, and then we kind of letting a few goals, and it's a loss. But we definitely see good things, but it's just frustrating, to kind of be in those close games and end up losing a lot of them.
I saw on the Pats website that you had a media availability yesterday with the Regina media. What was the basis of that discussion? What were they asking you about yesterday in the Queen City?
Just kind of a lot of the same stuff about the team, and obviously the close games like you mentioned, and obviously personal stuff, but it's a lot about kind of this last little stretch and obviously the push for the playoffs.
I got to ask you, Connor, because I'm looking up your numbers here, and they continue to be eye-popping, but 69 points in 45 games. But what jumped out to me was only -1 on a team that's not in a playoff spot right now. How proud are you of that stat? I mean, I'm sure you'd like it to be better, but there's guys in your position that are offensive players that are nowhere near even in plus-minus. Has there been a bigger commitment for you to that part of your game this year?
I mean, that's something I want to get up. So you don't want to be in the minus, and I think I've been getting closer to the year. Kind of started off a little shaky in that stat, and kind of working your way up. But I mean, it's something you got to take a lot of pride in as a player. You're D zone, and you don't want to get scored on ever. So I think that's something that I really want to get up and hope to be plus soon.
Well, yeah, it would seem like an odd question, that -1, and I'm asking you about it, but I'm just saying on a team with that record, I'm surprised it's not worse. So I know why you would want to be better, but I was impressed when I saw that. And here's another thing about, listen, Connor, I've been in Alberta for 6 weeks. Your name comes up every single day. From fans. Is he really that good? Is he da-da-da? I'm saying, well, go buy a ticket and watch for yourself. How are you dealing with that glare? I mean, it's been generally positive, right? No, but I don't see anybody on your back or anything like that. But does it weigh down on you that everybody's asking about you and the glare's on you, or do you even notice?
I don't think, for me, I notice too much. I mean, obviously at games and stuff, you're getting, a little extra attention from the fans maybe and that sort of thing. But, when you're kind of just playing, you're with your team and at the rink every day. So you don't really have much time to focus on that, I don't think.
Do you enjoy, like, for instance, Bjarnason made all the saves last night, got the shutout over Calgary and Brandon, and when they played you guys, the Wheat Kings, he said to me, whenever I face Bedard, I get geeked up. You're getting that from every goalie every night. My guess is, Connor, with your competitive nature, you like that. Do you feel like you're getting every goalie's best and every team's best every single night because it elevates your game?
Yeah, I mean, I think teams are going to play me pretty hard, and you definitely see that, the extra shot or something like that. But you got to learn to like that, and I think it's a lot of fun to kind of have that extra attention, and if you're not getting challenged, then you're not getting better. So I think if goalies are excited for that, and I'm excited to play every goalie, so I think it's definitely exciting.
Got some home games, as I said, Friday, Lethbridge, Saturday, Calgary, and then you come back out here, Medicine Hat, Lethbridge. What is the focus from Coach Haroff and Schneider here the rest of the way for you guys in terms of a team game? Because folks are expecting you to make the playoffs. You're not that far out. What are you guys going to have to do as a team to do it?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with these 2 games, and there's areas we definitely want to get better in, and we're a young team, so I think we're getting more experience every game, and we're kind of trying to learn how to win, I think, and once we start being able to close out games, and I think we'll be a pretty tough team to beat. But it's just kind of little things, penalty kill, and kind of just sticking with our plan even when we get up or when we're down. So I think it's just those things, and then obviously hopefully some wins kind of generate out of that.
Well, I don't have much more for you. I know that you'd rather talk about the team than yourself, but I'm just dying to ask you this. I don't get a chance to talk to you that often. The last time I talked to John Paddock, he said that the WHL was different last year when you were a 15-year-old. There was no Europeans. A lot of teams didn't have their full complement of 20-year-olds. We were talking about your point per game stat, and then this year it's been a tougher. You had no travel. Have you seen the level of play in the Dub jump up considerably because of those factors this year? Is John right when he says that?
I mean, I think it kind of balances out with me getting older and that sort of thing. I don't think many people expect me to be at a 2 point per game pace in a full 68 game season. So maybe that's a little unrealistic, but I think obviously last year it is different. It's 10-minute rides to the rink and stuff, but overall I don't think the hockey is too much different. Obviously maybe a little better with some of those guys coming back, but it's been a lot of fun to kind of be in away rinks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, and just the last one. just a fun question. I mean, we all watch SportsCenter every day, and they're. I was at Super Bowl, Connor, and they were talking about your goal in the Saddle Dome, the toe drag, and then between the legs, right? And then these guys in Calgary said the next time you were back, you did a 360 move that never ever did make the highlights or highlight of the night. It might have been just better. Is there something about the Saddle Dome that you like, the big ice, the NHL arena? Is there something that you like playing in Calgary about?
I mean, NHL rink, you got to get a little pumped for that. But, you know, I don't know if it's the rink. It's kind of just, you know, where it's happened a little. But, you know, I mean, the Saddle Dome is definitely one of my favorite places to play. I think, you know, older building, you know, a lot of history there. And, you know, it's just a lot of fun to play. But, you know, I don't know if that would be the reason, you know, the highlights are coming there or not.
Well, 20 years ago, long before you were born, the guys used to say the Saddle Dome had the best ice in all of the Western Hockey League, and it was probably because it was an NHL arena, but now I think all the ice is great. Is the ice better there? Or, because they say with technology now, the ice is great everywhere. Is there a better ice surface in the Dub that you know of, or is it noticeable?
I mean, like you said, I think every ice, but honestly, I'd probably say the Saddle Dome would be, like, it's weird that it could be a difference, but you do notice it a little, I think. And, you know, it could just be the fact that it is an NHL rink, and you're kind of feeling that. But, you know, I mean, ice is good everywhere, but it definitely, you know, even practicing on the Saddle Dome was pretty cool. It just kind of the vibe there, I think. So it's definitely, you know, a really good place to play.
Yeah, it is an awesome vibe, and you certainly put your best foot forward here, because I'm telling you, it's coming up every single day. Well, Connor, good luck this weekend. I always appreciate the time chatting with you. Good luck the rest of the way, man. Keep it rolling, and good luck getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Rod.
The great Connor Bedard, number 98 of God's team, the Regina Pats. When we come back, overtime, lots to get to. Viewer takeover. We'll be right back for one more segment. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube live streaming, and if you missed any of the show, catch up with the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big, and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort
legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
One more time from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. It's the RP Show. It's overtime, proudly presented by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Here we go. Listen, I'm having some fun with this, with people on Twitter here. Joaquin Gager, y'all know Gager. He's laughing at the fact I said I still get nervous every time I interview Connor Bedard. I do. I don't care. Who knows? He's 16. I'm 49. I've done thousands of interviews. The kid's eyes just pierce right through you. Oh, boy, I love watching him. It's the biggest reason why this jersey's up here. Which reminds me, by the way, this is overtime. I'm by myself. Moose is down in Phoenix. Danny's waiting for me at Calgary's Best Buffet. And these guys at Grey Eagle said to me, can you get some signed jerseys for our golf tournament this summer? I'm like, oh, don't ask me for Fajardo jerseys. I'm not sure I can get them. And they're like, no, we want Bedard jerseys. That's why this is over here. That's why the Bo jersey's over there. These are highly, highly, highly valuable jerseys. And you got to enter the Grey Eagle Golf and Resort Golf Tournament, which is June 20th at Bears Paw Golf Course and Country Club. They'll be up for grabs. It's the only way you're going to be able to get your hands on these. Highly valuable. Our text contest is over, but people are still writing in with the contest to win tickets to Foreigner, which are going to be here March 19th and 20th. We asked you to text in the 902 line, 902-518-3033. What's your favorite Foreigner song? And Roger in Calgary writes in. He says, I want to know what love is, Rod. Thanks, Roger.
How about that?
Do you want to know, Roger, what it is? No, we have our winner. We'll be discussing it after the show, and we'll be contacting the winner, but the contest closed. But thanks for playing. Cole writes in from Calgary. Hey, Rod. Cole Binstead. Hey, Cole. We are being introduced to an entirely new region of viewers, and it's blowing some people's minds that you can text the guy on the screen. You can. We've been doing it for 713 shows now. Interactive television. That's what this is. John in Edmonton writes in on the 902 line. He really wants this answered. He says, Rod, what do you think of the company Apple being the exclusive streaming partner for Major League Baseball Friday night games? And the only way to watch it is with Apple Plus TV. What do I think, John? I think they need to get back playing. That's what I think. It's business, man. I'll say it again. It's business. Apple's the most valuable company in the world. I think a lot of leagues would like to partner up with Apple. The only way to watch MLB games on Friday night is if you have Apple TV Plus. That's business. That's the way it is. There's a lot of people upset in the homeland that we're out here in Calgary. They're like, you're a Saskatchewan show. It's business. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino rolled out the red carpet. Here we are. It's business. Same thing with MLB and Apple. If you don't want to pay it, don't watch. As Corey says, the house operations manager over here, who's a stand-up comedian in her, she moonlights as that. She says, no money, no funny. Pay to play. Gino is watching. voice of the Okotoks Oilers, he writes in and he says, gotta love teen chaos here in the AJHL. Camrose Canmore split along with Drumheller Calgary. I regret not staying for the buffet on Monday. Buffets here every day. Calgary's best buffet, as they say. Where's the beef? It's at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And he says, by the way, great towel. I got that towel from the game the other night in Okotoks from the Oilers. Every seat was adorned with one, and I swiped a couple, Gino. Hope you don't mind. Christine, my cousin Christine in Medicine says, it would be nice to meet all the world junior hockey players like that. I just want to meet one. Connor, I'm good. It's like when I met George Strait at Craven Country Jamboree. That's all I wanted to. I met George. I'm done. I'm good. I don't need to come back. And I haven't. Craig Campbell is watching from the Hockey Hall of Fame in downtown Toronto. He says Friday nights in the summer are for CFL on TSN. Yes, they are. We did have a wonderful CFL Toronto discussion earlier on in the program today with Danny Austin. If you missed any of the show, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you can just slide the bar back and watch it there, or PVR, as so many of our friends do. I'm sorry, folks. Now I see all these people writing, and they all had questions and comments for Connor Bedard. I was so giddy, like a schoolboy, that I forgot that you all had questions. You wanted to talk to him, too. Randy from the Peg writes in regarding our CFL discussion earlier. He says, what about the Lions? Seems like there's no interest in Vancouver either. Can we just keep it positive for the love of Pete? You got to start somewhere. Honestly, I meant to say this with Danny, and we'll probably talk about it over a buffet. I refuse to believe that it's dead anywhere. It might be. I might be wrong. But in the recovery world, last minute of play in the RP show. Last minute. In the recovery world, we have a saying. Nothing is ever hopeless. What's been done can be redone. Any relationship can be repaired. I think the relationship between the Argos and the Toronto fans, sporting community, and the city can be repaired. I think the BC Lions in Vancouver, I think you can bring it back. I'm glad it's not my job to have to do it, however. Ron Thompson, watching here in Calgary, says, great interview with Connor. Such a classy, smart lad. Hope nothing but the best for him. Oh, God, I could go on about him all day. I remember interviewing him when he was 14. I said, who do you compare yourself to, Connor, in the NHL right now? He said, I'm my own player. Danged if he wasn't right. What do we got tomorrow, Clark? It's a football Friday. How about that? We'll just end it there. See you tomorrow at noon Eastern here on Game Plus TV.
Nerds!